Before we even start, I want to show you something.
We had no idea what this movie would be when we first started on the first picture. It was kind of like the little movie that could. It's just snowballed into this out of control thing, and now we have two sequels. We have the hockey team. We have the Saturday morning cartoon, and maybe a live action series now. It's kind of nutty, but it's cool.
When you first started this, did you have any idea?
No, I mean, you just never know how that picture is going to turn out. Is it going to stand the test of time? Is it going to transcend across generations? You just never know. And the fact that it was a little movie that could, we made it, 2 sequels, a hockey franchise. I mean, like I said, in 1996, it was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I'm Gordon Bombay. I'm the new coach. Now here's the long and the short of it. I hate hockey and I don't like kids.
They call you and they say, hey, do you want to, let's bring Gordon back to life. Let's get him going. What is your first reaction when you get that phone call?
It's interesting because, I kind of left mainstream movies, and you and I have talked over the years. It's like, I left mainstream movies with Mighty Ducks 3. And that same year I did Mission Impossible 1. And then I went off and directed my own thing and did what I like to call my time in the wilderness, where I was making independent films sort of on my own time, at my own pace. Yeah. To come back now to mainstream and coming back by way of Mighty Ducks Game Changers, it feels organic. It feels like it was almost like a plan. It wasn't. But it almost feels like it, and it feels like a real natural and organic thing to do.
In order to be a team, you just have to have a home rink and a coach.
What about Gordon Bombay?
Gordon Bombay? Gordon Bombay.
I'm guessing you didn't see the sign? I hate hockey, and I don't like kids.
You run an ice rink.
Weird, huh?
Have you been skating all this time? Have you been staying on the... So what was that like?
Painful, because, the older you get, the longer it takes to heal.
Yes.
You fall, it happens very quickly. And, you get off that edge, or you get too far on that edge and off you go. So I'm an avid snowboarder. And so I took off from snowboarding for 10 years. When I got back on, I was like, boom, I was cutting, my edges I was making beautiful turns. I thought skating is going to be the same way. No problem. But first day, boom, boom. I mean, I was in so much pain every day skating. It's and I had to break in new skates, which is not advisable. So yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
I spent my entire life chasing hockey, and I have absolutely nothing to show for it.
You have us.
How was it working with Lauren and bringing her into this franchise? And now you two, it seems like, will be together as this show goes on. I
had to make an adjustment because this is my first TV series. Normally with a movie, you go into it and you see all 120 pages and I'm shooting this, I'm shooting that. And with the TV show, obviously Lauren is a seasoned pro. I mean, she's been doing this for a long time, and she had obviously a hell of a lot more experience than I did working in this format. And I would go to her every day. I was like, man, I don't understand. It's like, what's happening in the next episode? And we're just getting this script. And what happens in episode 10? And she's like, listen, relax. It's all going to work out. And so she was in many ways like a mentor for me in terms of learning the landscape of this television process. So I was grateful for that.
Guys, come on now. Don't get discouraged, okay? That's why we watch game tape, to get better.
It's like a master class. In second.
How much fun were the kids? Because Sway apparently was the TikTok queen, and she led the charge with the TikToks and everything like that. And you and Lauren aren't big social media people, so what was that like?
No, in fact, I had to take the Twitter machine was taken away from me during a Blackhawks game, and I started. Bourbon was involved. And I started yelling at the Chicago team, and then the fans jumped on me, and so I had to stop the social media of it all. But what was interesting with the kids is that because of COVID, we weren't able to socialize. We weren't able to really dig in and get to know each other and have social time either on set or even off set. Like in the first couple of Mighty Ducks, Kenan Thompson talked about how when we were doing part 2, he said, Emilio Estevez rented this go-kart track for us and bowling alley, and we did all this stuff, and he didn't know any of us, but those are the things you do when you are trying to create a team, and you're trying to create a social atmosphere outside of the filming, which ultimately lends itself to creating more of a dynamic relationship on set and in the scenes. And we didn't have that on this, unfortunately. Hopefully, if we are lucky enough to get renewed for season 2, the protocols will be more relaxed, and we'll be able to do more social things as a group.
Ducks stick together, right?
Yeah!
So let's see it. Show me the flying V.
All right.
And do you hear from some of the original Mighty Ducks? Are they like, dude, you got a spot for me?
There is an episode where some of the original Ducks participate. They come back. I'm not at liberty to say which ones, but they do come back.
Have fun out there, Coach.
And it was interesting to see these kids who are now in their 40s, who are now older than I was when we did the first film. It's interesting to see how, it's 30 years it's a long time.
Even though, look, you had to flip the story a little bit, it still really worked in that true, like, Mighty Ducks theme. It felt authentic. What was it like working with this group?
The themes of all the films is the underdog, is the marginalized, the kids that don't get invited to participate. And it was all about being inclusive. And I think that this series, even more so than the films, deals with inclusivity and inviting the marginalized to the party and be a part of something that, a team that normally they wouldn't have been invited to.
Let's start our own team. Look at this. Your first teammate.
I would not be an asset physically. I have more of a podcast body.
We're hearing rumors of a Young Guns 3. What can you tell me?
I would say that while I still have great affinity for independent film, I think it's time to get back to work and give audiences what they want. I'm a big believer in environmental scanning. And, I spent a lot of time out in the world talking to folks in the central corridor of the country. And they would say to me, hey, man, we want to see you get back to work. We want to see you do Gordon Bombay. We want to see you do Billy the Kid again. What are you doing? Get to work. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to get to work. And we're gonna give the people what they want. For a lot of us, our movie going experience had a lot to do with you when we grew up and watching you in those Brat Pack movies. So we've grown with you, and now you're a grandpa. How is that? I tell you what, I've from a distance, I've seen my granddaughter a couple of times this week. Watch her run down the street. And it's something else. There really aren't words to describe what it feels like to be a grandparent, unless those who are know exactly what it is. Although there's a part of me that still feels like I'm 25 years old, so it's like it's hard to embrace that.